Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to the Explainer. We are unlocking the absolute ultimate computer science Cambridge exam strategy today. If you're studying syllabus codes 0417, 0478, 2210, or even 9618, you already know the exact feeling I'm about to describe. You are sitting in the exam hall. The clock is relentlessly ticking down. You are facing immense deadline pressure. The ultimate goal? You need to break down the story, which is your exam question, and deliver the headline, which is the perfect mark-winning answer. To show you exactly what I mean, let's look at a real Cambridge computer science past paper question, specifically focusing on sound sampling and resolution. I want you to meet two students. On the left side of your screen, we have Alex. Look closely at his answer. It is absolutely covered in red pen marks from the examiner. Why? Well, because Alex overloads the page with raw computer science facts. He's talking all about analog to digital converters, but he provides absolutely zero analysis. On the right, we have Sam. Sam's problem is entirely different. Sam rushes under the timer pressure and completely misses the command word requirements. So we have got two genuinely smart students, but two completely flawed answers. Today, we are going to fix that.
Here is our explicit roadmap for this session. We have a packed agenda covering 6 core areas. First, solving the digital problem. Second, the 3 layers of explanation. Third, mastering the vital distinction between description and explanation. From there, we'll dive right into the method mark strategy. Then we will outline principal examiner warnings so you can see exactly where marks are lost. And finally, we will run through a final self-check. Consider this your complete computer science success blueprint.
Let's get into Section 1, Solving the Digital Problem. It is time to move way beyond the standard vocabulary list. True comprehension in computer science always starts by understanding exactly why a digital concept exists in the first place, not just blindly memorizing its definition like you're reading a dictionary. For example, the topic of sound sampling and resolution absolutely has to be taught as part of a connected structure. If you just memorize the fact that sound sampling involves taking measurements of a sound wave at regular intervals, well, you're doing exactly what Alex did. You're just dumping facts onto the page. Strong answers, the ones that secure the top grades, begin with the digital problem. They identify the exact concept involved, and then they link that concept directly to the context. So I am posing this question directly to you. What practical problem does sound sampling and resolution actually solve? To answer this effectively, we need to break down the command words using something called the PEEL framework. That stands for point, evidence, explanation, and link. Strong exam answers always connect to a practical consequence for a user, a system, or an organization. When you use the PEEL framework, you don't just state a random fact. No, you make a point about the problem. You provide evidence from the given scenario, you explain how sound sampling solves it, and then you link it all back to the user consequence. Before we continue, subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon right now.
Now, let's explore the concept of real-world transfer. The exact same patterns behind sound sampling and resolution appear absolutely everywhere. We're talking smartphones, complex websites, databases, automated systems, media handling, and secure online activity. Connecting this abstract concept to familiar real-world technology is honestly the secret cheat code. It ensures you actually remember the reason the concept exists. This real-world transfer is crucial because it converts pure memory into practical usefulness. When an exam question places you in the context of, let's say, a school management tool or a banking system handling voice authentication, you have to apply sound sampling to that specific context. Let's do a quick visual challenge right now. I want you to spot which of the 2 answers on screen perfectly follows the PEEL framework for a smartphone scenario. Take a close look. Do you see how the green highlighted text makes a point about smartphone storage, then explains the sample rate, and finally links it straight back to battery life? That right there is exactly how you secure top marks.
All right, moving right along into Section 2, the 3 layers of explanation. I like to refer to this as the high-yield principle. Now, what is really interesting here is the progression that top students use to conquer exam questions. So many candidates will recognize a familiar word in the prompt, a word like resolution, and they will immediately start answering a totally different question from the one that was actually set. This happens because they haven't mastered the layers of explanation. Moving systematically through these layers is how we transform those brutal red pen marks on Alex and Sam's papers into beautiful green check marks. Let's walk through these 3 stages of mastery. Step 1 is the simple explanation using everyday language. Think of it like explaining sound sampling to a friend who doesn't study computer science. You just say it's like taking quick snapshots of music. Step 2 is the technical explanation, pulling in the correct subject vocabulary. This is where you introduce terms like amplitude, analog to digital converter, and hertz. Finally, step 3 is the exam explanation, shaped specifically for time pressure. This is where you deploy that Peel framework we just talked about. I do have to warn you, though. Students exactly like Alex often lose marks because they falsely believe they're exam ready after merely reaching step 2. They think just knowing the technical vocabulary is the finish line. Sam, on the other hand, tries to rush straight to step 3 without securing step 2, which results in a highly confused, messy answer. When we take Alex's raw facts and structure them into a step 3 exam explanation, that is when your mark potential jumps from 20% straight to 100%.
Let's jump into Section 3, description versus explanation. This is a truly vital distinction you have to make. Knowing the boundary between these two terms often entirely controls the outcome of your exam answer. This is where decoding command words becomes absolutely essential. A highly useful teaching discipline for sound sampling and resolution is to consciously and deliberately separate your description from your explanation. They are simply not the same thing, and I promise you, examiners are relentlessly strict about this. Let's contrast these two approaches so it's crystal clear. A description tells you what the device, process, or method is. An explanation, however, tells you how it works and why it matters. Examiners usually expect both. If you only describe it, maybe by saying, sound sampling measures sound waves, the answer sounds safe, sure, but it is far too shallow to get full credit. On the flip side, if you jump straight into an explanation without clearly naming the concept first, your response just feels incomplete to the person grading it. Description is your foundation, explanation is where you secure the high marks. And we're back. Let's step right into Section 4, the method mark strategy. This is your disciplined path. But listen up, stop scrolling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. We've helped thousands of students improve by 2 to 3 grade boundaries. Join them right now by subscribing to acetheexams_IGCSE and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly exam strategy sessions. Okay, it is officially time to abandon writing facts in a random order in favor of a structured, process-based sequence. The technical method for approaching questions on sound sampling and resolution, or really any complex computer science topic, needs to follow a highly disciplined path. When that exam clock is ticking down, you absolutely cannot rely on sudden inspiration. You need a rock-solid system. So here is your 4-step method mark strategy. Step 1, identify the demand of the question. What is the command word actually asking? Step 2, classify the correct concept or process. Step 3, explain the sequence step by step. Step 4, connect the explanation to the specific context provided. Strong exam performance fundamentally depends on specificity. Generic responses rarely, if ever, gain full marks. If the question is set in a retail environment or a secure network, your answer must stay rigidly inside that exact context. Let's do an interactive workshop right now to test this out. Challenge 1 is our data scan. We have a complex computer science data table on the screen right now, showing varying sample rates and file sizes. Imagine a 60-second timer ticking down. Look at the numbers. Can you extract the core trend from this data? The core trend is that as resolution increases, file size increases exponentially, which directly impacts transmission speed. Welcome to Section 5, Principal Examiner Warnings. We're going to look exactly at where marks are lost so you don't make the same mistakes. One huge reason students find this topic so difficult is that surface features can totally distract you from the real underlying idea. You might fixate on a device name, like a microphone or maybe a familiar symbol, and then completely ignore the deeper process of analog to digital conversion. Let's run challenge 2 right now. Find the flaw. I want you to read the flawed sample paragraph on screen carefully. Which sentence is losing marks? Look closely at the structure. Yes, it's the third sentence. It jumps backwards in the logical sequence, totally breaking the flow of the process. Examiners repeatedly warn about a few very common pitfalls. These include using vague wording, confusing similar terms like mixing up memory with storage or sample rate with resolution, missing crucial steps in a process, failing to answer in the given context, stating an advantage with no reason attached to it, and jumping backwards and forwards in sequence. The crucial takeaway here is this. Error-aware notes are vastly more useful for your revision than notes containing only correct facts. You literally need to know exactly how you might fail in order to guarantee that you succeed. Let's test this with challenge 3, speed writing. Imagine a 30-second timer ticking away. Your goal is to write one perfect Peel paragraph explaining why a higher sample resolution is better for professional music recording. Go. Remember, focus on the context. You've got to explain the mechanism first, then state the consequence. Time is up. How did you do? Finally, let's bring it all together in Section 6, the final self-check. Are you actually exam ready?
We have covered the complete computer science answering system today. Your progress bar is officially reaching 100%. Remember the 3 golden rules that guarantee top marks? Command word decoding, Peel framework application, and your time management matrix. But how do you know if a specific topic, like sound sampling, is truly locked in your memory for exam day? You use this ultimate practical self-check tool to test your adaptability. If you can confidently answer these 4 questions aloud about sound sampling, you are officially ready for the exam hall. Question 1. What is it? That is your description. Question 2. How does it work? That is your sequence of operations. Question 3. Where is it used? That is your real-world context transfer. And question 4. Why is it better or worse than the alternative? That is your evaluation and justification.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. Will you apply the method mark strategy to your very next Cambridge past paper? Because the difference between Alex's paper covered in red marks and a top-tier grade isn't about who is smarter. It is entirely about how structured your thinking is. Students who implement these computer science strategies see an average improvement of 2 grade boundaries, but only if they practice consistently with our weekly videos. Here's your final reminder. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Subscribe right now to at acetheexams_IGCSE and click that bell. Don't let another exam pass you by. Drop a comment below with your target grade for computer science and the biggest challenge you're facing. Our team responds to every comment. Like and share this video with a study partner. Ace the Exams. Your Cambridge success starts here.